Yeah.
444 was Hove going to therapy, coming out and letting us know about the findings and the conversations and how him and his wife worked through some. He was very transparent,
introspective
in ways that we weren't used to hearing. And if Drake found a way to do that, I think the world is interested.
Yeah.
All right. So it looks like Joe Budden is saying that he feels like with ICEMAN, Drake needs to put out his own version of 444 by Jay-Z. Let's see what the Podfather had to say about this. Like the video and subscribe. Let's get it.
YN says, after y'all's combo with DJ Head, I'm wondering, would y'all be interested in Drake's version of 444 or Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers? At this point, I'm not sure that the stick to the slaps model is enough. There seems to be a reckoning of some sort that needs to happen. In a dream world, who would Drake call for his 444 moment? What producers or features should he tap the shoulder of? What subjects should he address versus stay away from? I'd love to hear y'all use this as a fix this business segment like y'all did for Ty. Well,
that's dope.
There was a reason why we did it for Ty. And we look really foolish doing that for the $1 Billion Boy.
Right.
So I won't do a fix this business on him.
For business. But
yeah, but I mean, we could give some suggestions.
I think that's a dope question.
It's a dope question. I think it's a great.
I would 100% be interested in Drake's version of 444.
Me too.
If he got with 40 and Boy Wonder.
That's it.
I throw a Vinyls beat on there, but those
of course,
are the three.
Yeah,
but that's
Vinyls could be in there.
Yeah, Boy Wonder's there, Vinyls should be. And that's it. But 444 was Hove going to therapy, coming out and letting us know about the findings and the conversations and how him and his wife worked through some shit. He was very transparent,
introspective,
in ways that we weren't used to hearing. And if Drake found a way to do that, I think the world is interested.
Yeah.
I think the world is much more interested than the kitty slaps.
Yes. Agreed.
That's just my opinion.
I agree.
I think that would be dope, actually.
Me too.
You know how comedians do some bullshit and then they got to come back at their next stand-up?
With the serious stand-up?
And do the whole transparency so we could get past it shit. I think that would be fire.
You just have to have the moment that makes the 444 possible, right? You have to live a certain thing. And if Drake's had that moment, I don't know Drake's life. If he's had that moment, then I'm ready for it. I don't know.
That was a mistake.
Like when I think of I'm even like in other genres like Marvin Gaye. I mean everybody thinks about what's going on, but for me, Here My Dear is a moment of transparency and honesty and vulnerability. But he had to go through that shit with his wife, right? So whatever Drake goes through and gets clarity on, once he does that and he's rapping, I think it's gonna be maybe his best work. I can't wait to hear that from Drake.
See, but some people would say that the year that was the battle should have been the event that caused.
It could have. We don't know.
Could be. That's true.
I'm sure, bro. He sat in some rooms by himself and got his self-reflection bag on. How did I end up here? What did I do to get here? All of the things about him and other niggas' girls, all of the things about him being a certain type of person. I'm sure he has had to sit with all of that in some way, shape, or form.
I think he's tried to do that, like in music. Like, even though What Did I Miss? Shit, like, I mean, he's still chasing the slap because he's programmed to think I gotta have a slap. But I'm still like, oh shit, the people that I was down with turned their backs on me and all of it. Like, I'm still, that's some introspection right there. That's me trying to figure out what's going on.
Real introspection.
In real time.
I agree with that, but I think
said some. I'm not saying he didn't dig deep.
I agree with you. No, he could have dug deep and just not put it on wax. But I think that accountability is where your introspection really starts.
That's what I'm saying.
If you can find yourself account, because all the other shit, he just shooting at these niggas.
Right.
Yo, I was your man. I looked out for you. You piece of shit. You turned your back on me. Like, at some point, he has to, if he has not already, gotten into the me looking in the mirror shit.
Yep. Man, that's what made 444 so great, is he talked about his shit. Where he went wrong.
Well, you got to
accountability. You're in a room with people that don't feel like 444 was that great.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that on my moon landing list.
All right, so the people are saying this was an underwhelming episode of the JBP. They didn't care about the Max B topic. They didn't care about the Stephen A topic, which, to be honest with y'all, Joe and the podcast members, they were uninformed about that Stephen A versus Michelle Beadle topic. I just want to say that. And they didn't care about anything else but the Melissa Ford and the Charlemagne the God podcast that Joe and the other podcast members did not address. It wasn't even a joke from Mark Lamont Hill. And Mona wasn't on this episode, by the way. But I saw some people had some issue with that. Now, I don't know if they recorded this late. I don't know if they're going to wait till Saturday. Maybe Joe is going to sit back and see the numbers for the new Melissa Ford pod with Charlemagne and her new season 3 of Hot and Bothered and how it debuted. I saw on YouTube, it only had about 35,000 views. And I think for Joe, in his mind, he'll look at that and say, she ain't doing shit. And I don't want to give her any publicity. I don't want to give her any advertisement. I feel like they kind of addressed it on a space last night on Twitter, but they didn't say any names. But it wasn't so salacious that I felt like I needed to post it. I'm sure somebody else might, but that's all we got for the Melissa Ford and Charlemagne thing. Also, when we get to this Drake topic, you have a lot of people saying that they're tired of hearing podcasts like the Joe Budden podcast constantly speak about what they want to hear from Drake. Instead, they should be talking about what they want to hear from Kendrick. And I'll talk about that in a second because I can do that for y'all. Because I don't want Kendrick to disappear after the tour and after this win and WWE champion belt that he got off of Drake. But we'll get to the Kendrick stuff in a second. I want to address this 444 topic. And to shoot Joe and the pod some bail, this was a fan asked question. So it's not like they brought this up on their own. But I think a lot of people have to remember when you're talking about 444 and Jay-Z, look at Jay-Z's life and then look at Drake's life. Jay-Z is a married man with children, settled down. He's not in the what is it? The public eye anymore. He's not out here trying to be in the blogs. He's not out here flexing. He's running around in jogging pants and scullies, wearing comfortable sneakers, comfortable clothing. And then look at Drake. Drake is still Draking, right? He's still running around like he's the big superstar. He's still running around with a different chick allegedly every day, messing with somebody's mama, some young basketball player's mama. Then he might be messing with the Instagram model, might be, flirting with Melissa Ford in the DMs, who knows? But we have to see Drake living a 444 life before we can expect a 444 album. We got to see Drake settle down. And look, I don't know about Drake's personal life, but I think most people don't look at Drake and say, he's somebody who's putting the family first. He's somebody who's, thinking about his life and having all of these thoughts that, a mature man would be having to even put those thoughts into an album like 444. And I saw the little off comment from Joe when they were saying, hey, you sitting in a room where everybody didn't like 444. I remember them talking about 444, but I can't remember the specifics. But okay, they didn't like it. But brother, I loved 444. And there's some hits on that album. And I liked it just as music, not even just because Jay-Z was switching it up and talking about, buying property and family. And also, y'all got to remember, this was Jay-Z coming off of I Cheated on My Wife. He was dealing with some real life shit when that album came out. So this is the most personal I expect to hear from Drake because all of his business is basically out there for the world. We want to hear him address the lawsuit. We want to hear him address losing the battle. and how he felt that all of these people turned on him. I don't think that's to the level of a 444, but I think that's what we can expect. And going back to what I was saying about Kendrick earlier, or what I wanted to say, I just wanted to address the Drake shit first. I'm a Kendrick fan and I'm a Drake fan. I hate how y'all act like you can't be both, as if these dudes wasn't making songs together, as if all of them, like all the big three, they was all in cahoots. They was all, bro, until Like That came out, we all knew that it was a possibility that all three of these dudes liked each other and would work with each other. They even asked Kendrick to be on that song, and we saw Kendrick and J. Cole getting along very well. So I just hate how the beef just split up everybody and y'all forgot about that. Y'all forgot that it's Drake and Kendrick songs out there that are classics. So I just always want to keep that in perspective. I am a fan of Kendrick and Drake. And as a Kendrick fan, I don't want us to just be cool with Kendrick winning the battle, making all of this money from UMG, making all of this money from the tour. And to be honest with you, throughout this run, I think this is the most money Kendrick has probably made in his life. And I think that's going to be very telling. Because if you get your biggest bag of your career and then you just sit down for 2 or 3 years, I know a lot of y'all will make an excuse and say, he's a family man. He sits with his family. But to me, it would say, oh, you don't love this shit the way we think you do. Because when the light-skinned dude from Canada was making hundreds of millions of dollars, he was still putting out music. And I know a lot of y'all will say quality over substance. But that's the thing that made Drake number one. That's the thing that got him into the number one spot. Consistency and consistently putting out good music. It might not have been as good as the old stuff to y'all. It might have not been the classics and all that other stuff. But he was consistently giving the people slaps. He was consistently feeding his fan base. I need Kendrick to do that. I want to see Kendrick with a quick turnaround. I want to see if he's talented enough to do it. Because that's talent. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. When you really that good at rapping, to me, you shouldn't need 10 years to put out an album. And I don't want us as fans to accept that from Kendrick. If you can sit there and you can try to destroy the number one guy, give us something new. Give us the alternative. Tell us why you should be the number one guy. Put in the work. Put in the work. Don't just say F the big three, it's just big me. Prove why it's big you. Show us. Show me. Show the fans. Show that you're so good at rap that you can do this in your sleep. It used to be a time in hip hop, and this is why a lot of y'all be claiming y'all hip hop and y'all not. It used to be a time when we gave more credit to the guy who could walk in a booth and do a freestyle than the guy who had to sit there for 5 or 6 hours and write a rhyme. And today, that 5 or 6 hour rhyme could be way better than the freestyle. But at least we gave props to the guy who was so creative that he could just walk in the booth and just do it like that. That's why we crown Lil Wayne. That's why we crown Jay-Z. Jay-Z don't write nothing. He does it all in his head. He walks in the studio for 5 or 6 minutes and then he goes in the booth and he lay it down. And I get it. Kendrick's music is so amazing that we should be willing to wait. But at a certain time, to me, you're supposed to grow as an artist, bro. It's like you got to get in your Michael Jordan prime era. Where it's like, no, I'm in a groove right now, and I can just put this shit out. And he sound like he got a lot to say. Also, do y'all think he should clean up at the Grammys this year? Because I saw a lot of people. Look, to me, I think Jid should win Album of the Year. I think GNX was cool, but I feel like GNX was kind of rushed. He wanted to put out something after the beef. Jid put out a complete project, JID. And that's all I got to say about this, all right? I yapped. Let me know what y'all think about this. Like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.